I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
Let this be it.
Comedy has always been with us. For over 100 years, films have made us laugh. What we laugh at has shifted constantly, reflecting the anxieties, taboos, and tastes of each generation. From silent pratfalls to raunchy shock humor, to the awkward cringe of modern times, comedy is a cultural time capsule. This is the story of 100 years of comedies.
My name is Jeff.
Comedy ages faster than any other genre. A thriller can remain tense. A drama can remain moving. But a joke either lands or it doesn't. And what killed in the 1930s might barely get a chuckle today. And yet, comedy's constant evolution is what makes it fascinating. When we trace the history of comedy, we're really tracing the history of us.
At ease, man.
What we found funny tells us who we were, what boundaries we were willing to break, and what we needed from laughter in that moment. In the 20s, laughter was wordless. Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton didn't need dialogue to fill theaters with howls. Chaplin's tramp character was a lovable striver, someone audiences rooted for as he stumbled through life's cruelties. Keaton's stone face was the perfect counterpoint, creating elaborate, dangerous stunts that are still jaw-dropping today. When sound arrived, comedy quickly adapted. The screwball comedies of the 30s replaced pratfalls with rapid-fire banter. Films like It Happened One Night and Bringing Up Baby thrived on gender battles, misunderstandings, and dialogue delivered at lightning speed. These films mirrored a society recovering from the Depression, hungry for clever escapism and wit. In the 40s, comedy often leaned wholesome, with duos like Abbott and Costello turning simple routines into timeless bits. By the 1950s, the genre became more sophisticated. Billy Wilder's Some Like It Hot ended the decade with a bang, mixing cross-dressing antics, gangsters, and Marilyn Monroe at her funniest.
I quite agree.
Its famous ending line, "Nobody's perfect," still feels ahead of its time.
Nobody's perfect.
Comedy was testing boundaries, but always wrapped in elegance and charm. By the 60s, the culture was shifting, and comedies reflected that. Dr. Strangelove turned nuclear annihilation into a punchline, one of the darkest satires ever made. The Pink Panther series revived slapstick through Peter Sellers' clumsy Inspector Clouseau. The 70s blew the doors off. Monty Python arrived with Holy Grail and absurd humor that seemed to come from another planet. Mel Brooks pushed political incorrectness to the limit with Blazing Saddles, a film that could never be made today, but which was fearless in its skewering of racism.
Speak the plain truth, it's getting pretty damn dull around here.
Oh, shit.
And then came Animal House, the anarchic frat comedy that set the stage for decades of raunch. Comedy had become dangerous. That danger was the point.
Out with it!
The 80s embraced excess.
Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Airplane redefined parody by stuffing every frame with gags, visual puns, and deadpan delivery.
Anybody catch a license plate?
The Naked Gun continued that style, turning detective stories into joke machines, but the decade also produced comedy blockbusters. Ghostbusters proved you could blend action, sci-fi, and comedy
What the hell are you doing?
into one of the biggest hits ever.
What is so dangerous about a character like Ferris Bueller is he gives good kids bad ideas.
John Hughes gave teenagers their voice, not only in dramas, but in comedies like Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Excuse me, I'd like to ask you a few questions.
The 90s brought a shift back to lowbrow humor, but with a new intensity. Jim Carrey dominated with his rubber-faced antics in Ace Ventura and Dumb and Dumber. The Farrelly brothers pushed raunch to new heights with There's Something About Mary. The infamous hair gel scene wasn't just shocking, it became a cultural landmark.
He's a murderer. Yeah.
But the 90s also gave us comedies that were clever and even philosophical. Groundhog Day took a simple conceit and turned it into something profound, proving that comedy could make us laugh and think at the same time.
It'll be like this one time at band camp.
As the 2000s began, comedy was defined by raunchy teen stories and the rise of the man-child. American Pie set the tone at the turn of the millennium.
Brian, I'm gonna be honest with you, that smells like pure gasoline.
Then came Judd Apatow and Will Ferrell, who shaped the decade with films like Anchorman, Step Brothers, and The 40-Year-Old Virgin. These movies were crude, but they had surprising heart. Beneath the outrageous jokes were stories about men stuck in adolescence, learning often reluctantly to grow up. Comedy had become both filthy and sentimental, sometimes in the very same scene. In 2011, Bridesmaids rewrote the rules.
It happened.
Female-led comedies weren't new, but one this bold and raunchy had never broken through at this scale. Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy proved that women could be just as outrageous, just as messy, and just as funny as the men.
Megan, no! Look away!
But Bridesmaids also brought something new to the genre: relatability. It wasn't just about big gags, it was about insecurity, friendship, and the chaos of adulthood. The film carried Apatow's DNA of raunch mixed with heart, but made it broader, more inclusive, and more human.
What'd you say?
Hi.
He's just an NPC. Waste that motherfucker.
Okay, just
Today, comedies don't dominate theaters the way they once did. Instead, they thrive on streaming and television. At the same time, comedies are blending with other genres. Palm Springs turned a time loop sci-fi story into a rom-com. Everything Everywhere All At Once combined absurd humor with action, philosophy, and family drama. Comedy is no longer confined to its own box. It's everywhere, interwoven with every kind of story. Comedy has never stood still, showing us the absurdity of life and the small ways we cope with it. 100 years later, we're still laughing, and that laughter is always evolving. What's your favorite comedy of all time? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this journey, subscribe for more deep dives into the films that make us laugh, cry, and sometimes do both at once.